How's it going everyone, my name is BAYZY and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be watching a video from Bulletcatcher Gaming going over some features in which they would like within year 2, and hopefully there is going to be year 2. But yeah, I'm going to be watching this video. Do go check them out, they're absolutely amazing guys, and I will be linking their channel down below in the description, so do go check them out. I will also be talking over it, pausing the video now and then, just talking about certain features and what kind of my opinion are on them, and let's get straight into this video.
Welcome back to Bulletcatcher Gaming. This is of course Recon Breakpoint. Thank you everybody for subscribing recently, all of our new subscribers, that is, anyone who comments. We really appreciate you, the community in general. We love Ghost Recon obviously, but thank you so much, honestly, we really do appreciate it. Hope everyone's having a happier new year. Last year was a bit of a washout. Obviously we're getting a live event very soon for Breakpoint. Everyone's desperate for some new content, so we thought we would have a look at what we feel should go into the game to maybe improve it and get it to where it really is the kind of finished article. Now a few of the changes are going to be a bit more in depth, so if they were to be implemented into the game, it would probably take some more time and requirements, as opposed to a lot of smaller ones which I think would make the community overall quite happy. This was a conversation that we have had numerous times on our Discord. If you'd like to join our Discord, the link is on the front of the channel. If you just go and click on that and join, some really friendly people over there. We have a photo competition that's going to be coming up soon, and also if you would like to see any of your videos, we're looking for some kind of cool badass stealth moments, any kind of silly stuff, any weird glitches you find or any silly moments, we'd like to see those too. You can upload your video footage to us and we'll credit you and use it in a future video down the line. So anyway, yeah, the link's on the front of the channel. Let's get into this then. Let's start with the thing that I believe that obviously everybody wants the most. Now if you want to comment down below, that would be great. If you've got any further suggestions, what I'd quite like to do is, you know, show this video to Ubisoft themselves. Obviously we're in Delta Company. I will show them the video, and the more support and comments we get with people, you know, saying that they like this idea, they want that, you know, hope they do listen. We know that they look on the forums and things like that, so hopefully they will pay attention. So I think one of the things that comes up over and over and over again, comments on YouTube, more than anything, and on the Discord, is Moa Island year 2. So everyone wants to know if we want a year 2. Obviously we do want a year 2. Year 2 I think would be the thing that a lot of people would rejoice about. Now we'd presume if we do get a year 2, this would include similar to year 1, where it's kind of broken down into, you know, different chapters across every few months or something, that we get different missions. Maybe there'd be more live events, or maybe they would keep it more structured, you know, mission based structured.
So loads of people do want a year 2 to the game, and of course I do want a year 2 too. It would be really cool if they do add one, and obviously there's loads of different ways in which they could tackle this. They could tackle it the route of like missions, as he said, where you have separate episodes and kind of going down that route instead of a more Wildlands based route where you had like separate DLCs. There was of course the other route, which was probably the less preferable one, in which is just patches to the game until the next one comes out. To be honest, I think they will go down the episode route, solely because, spoiler alert here, Treystone dies at the end of episode 3, and there's no like finish to that. There's no way in that Nomad gets off the island or something along those lines, so it's kind of just left out in the open. Sentinel are still on the island because of the live event 3, which pretty much confirms that there is some kind of Sentinel presence on the island of Auroa, and there is some wolves still on there as well, as you saw in the last episode for that live event. So that kind of confirms it slightly, and of course there's like small little things within the live event that kind of hint towards there possibly being a year 2, but they're not major, and there's no like confirmation on it. I think we kind of need some information about what will be happening within year 2, maybe in February. Fingers crossed anyways. But yeah, I totally agree. I think some kind of episodes or some kind of DLC content like we had within Wildlands would be pretty cool.
Whatever it is, we want more of it. I think people would like to see a similar to kind of Wildlands Ghost mode. Maybe that could be added in year 2. And we have had a few people that said they'd like a kind of survival wave-based mode that is obviously was also in Wildlands. That could be interesting. But, you know, I like that. I like the idea of having that kind of one life. It really would be a challenge. I'm not sure they would include the raid within that, but they might. That really would make it a challenge. So you've just got that one life, you know, the permadeath. Lots of people have said they would like to see that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think some kind of permadeath mode should be within the game, kind of like the hardcore live streams which I've been doing, and which thankfully G-Money kind of set up some kind of settings, and obviously I have kind of modified that to how I would like to play. Something along those lines will be pretty cool, and of course, as I said, I've kind of modified G-Money's kind of hardcore settings there. Some kind of modification will be pretty cool. Of course, we'll have regular, we'll have immersive. Maybe a last one could be hardcore, where you have like this permadeath system within the game, kind of like ghost mode within Wildlands. So yeah, I totally agree on that.
But Moa Island, hopefully that we are going to get that. Everyone wants it open. And lots of people have said that we don't really have much desert in the game, so they'd like to see desert, more that kind of desert arid kind of thing included. Now, maybe that's where Moa Island could be more deserty. I'm hoping that obviously their plans are to open up Moa Island, give us missions there and objectives and things like that. So I think that's quite a nice idea. Definitely we want that, and also it's a big chunk of land, which means there's lots of opportunities for new things, little Easter eggs and little things to find, and you know, hopefully lots of new weapon cases and things like that. And that's what we all want. Everyone wants more weapons, we know that. Everyone wants more camos, definitely. It's got to be one of the most asked for things going. Some people would still like the cobbling, because there are people that don't like playing the raid. So maybe an idea would be to put the cobbling in the store, but change it, do a different variant of the cobbling, like a cobbling scout or something, so it wouldn't feel like anyone who's done the raid and, you know, is not losing out on what they had.
I totally agree. Something needs to be announced regarding Moa Island and what that is supposed to be used for. I believe it was supposed to be used for the second raid, in which got cancelled in episode 2 and was supposed to release in episode 3. Very unfortunate about that. And as he was saying, like, we'll have had stuff transferred from the raid over to PvE, and some people liked that, some people didn't. Maybe if we had like some kind of modifications for these weapons that are within the raid, and you can maybe find them on Moa Island, I think that would be pretty cool. To be honest, I would prefer for them to add more guns and more cosmetics instead of just having variants and all that kind of stuff. I want new stuff instead of just variations, because I don't really use the variations of weapons as often as I do use like the main ones, such as the M4A1. I'll use the M4A1, I won't use the one which is scout or tactical, anything like that. I'll use the one which is just specifically the M4A1. There's loads of weapons that they could add to the game, it's just depending on whether they can get the license for it and, you know, whether they can add it to the game within the year 2.
But something that I would like to add is enemy patrol boats. I think there's a lot of water on, obviously, around the island of Auroa, and it's not really utilised considering there's so much water there. You have access to these boats. Why are there no enemy patrol boats? Patrol boats even. I think that would make it really interesting. Armed, but you could have smaller scout boats, you know, big, heavier armoured boats. I'd really like to see that. I think it would make the water another dynamic into the kind of game overall. Yeah, so we're all up for that. We all want more missions, things like that, and I definitely want patrol boats. So another thing, what about a new class? If you look at the classes we've already got, overall, there's not much kind of aimed around, you know, being a kind of like an LMG, like a support role. So maybe they could do something, a class based around an LMG. you could kind of have the rewards or something like that based around maybe armor piercing rounds or something like that, or you get heavy armor, or possibly that you can carry a lot more ammunition. There's loads of different kind of variations, but lots of people have said that they would like to see that.
So I've got to admit, my opinion on that is kind of a bit strange. I would like a support role, but me personally, I probably wouldn't use it. You've got the engineering class, which is basically going to give you some ammo when you need it, which is technically linking to what you said. But then again, like, it isn't as supportive as what a support role could be. And I do think more classes do need to be added to the game, and I think they need to be added a little bit more frequent than what they were within Year 1 to the game. Maybe add like 2 every episode or something along those lines. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I think a support role would come in handy. I probably wouldn't use it if it's specific to LMGs though. You do technically get like the extra bullet penetration with like the sharpshooter and the assault class. Within the assault class, it's kind of like it's like the true grit, isn't it? So it's kind of you do a little bit more power than what you would normally do. It's just very minor, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know if I would use it if it is like specific to LMGs. To be honest, I think that's down to like player's choice, really. But 100% totally agree. We need more classes within the game.
Also, your drone that you've got, you could utilise your drone a lot more. I mean, I know that people have said about adding sounds to the drone so you could use it as distraction, or having the EMP back on the drone like you did in Wildlands. I'd like to see that personally. So AI teammate options, for example, that they could work on. What about if AI teammates could drive vehicles while you sit in the passenger seat or on the gunner's position? If you could click on a waypoint and they drive you there, so you don't necessarily have to drive the vehicle if you don't want to. I think that could be a really, really interesting way of using your AI teammates. Obviously having more orders for them, or being able to order them individually to say where you want them to go. So, you want Fury up here, Vasily over here, whatever. They haven't all got to necessarily go to the same place. I think that's quite a good one.
100% agree. I think AI choice and being able to command them a little bit more, and just their general behaviour, would just totally improve the game when it comes to using them AI teammates. Of course, SOCOM kind of improves on the AI teammates if they were to add them kind of features into the game. I feel like they were very similar to Wildlands, and they still are very similar to Wildlands. So I think some kind of improvement just to make them different would just totally improve the game. And there's also like the behaviour. Wildlands felt a little bit more live because of the AI teammates talking to you frequently, while in this one, they're not really talking to you much at all.
So people have mentioned about the wolves, about the fact that they would like to see wolves kind of chase you down a little bit more, be a bit more kind of full on. Kind of like maybe in Wildlands, maybe kind of halfway between what we had in Wildlands with Unidad, with the alert level. Sometimes that did get quite full on, but it was quite fun. But when the alert level was at the highest, at some of the bigger bases in Wildlands, it was quite hard work. But maybe they could come up with an option to kind of do it halfway, where the wolves chase you down a lot more than they currently do. Yeah, that's another interesting one. But or how about this? Colours of your camo. I mean, if you think about it now, all the different camo options that we've got, they don't actually make any difference whatsoever. So if you wore a snow camo in a forest, it doesn't make the slightest bit of difference. It's just there for cosmetic. How about we had, if you wore snow camo in the snow, the alert presence of the enemies was actually dropped, so they couldn't see you so well. Or if you were wearing more urban camo nearer buildings or something like that, I think that could be a really interesting way of utilizing the camos that you've got for the environments that you're in. Lots of people have said they'd like to see the kind of cloaking outfit back from Wildlands. Could be interesting. I don't know whether it would be too overpowered. I don't think you'd be able to include it in Ghost War. I think that would be very unfair. But if you did have it, I mean, you could even have a class built around it perhaps, but I think first of all, if you are going to have it, you've got to make it work better than you did in Wildlands, because in Wildlands it just didn't work. The alert level was exactly the same as whether you were wearing it or not. So if you are going to do it, they do need to kind of implement it properly, I think.
So in regards to all this, I totally agree. I think AI behaviour, enemy AI to be specific here, I think that it needs to be improved. Maybe like detection within Darkest Night should improve. Maybe just generally, like if you're wearing a different camouflage, that should improve. So, for example, he said, I don't know if it was like snow or something along those lines, if you're in like a snow biome and you are taking on a base, you should be able to wear like the white alpine camouflage, and that should be able to like cover you. Basically, that should add a little bit more cover because you are blending in with the environment. I think if they were to also modify like the camouflage in which the enemy are using as well, because I'm pretty sure like the clothes are exactly the same even if you go into like different biomes. But yeah, generally, like, I think AI improvements in regards to that would go a mile. If they do add that camouflage thing, which he suggested for, like, Ghost Recon Future Soldier, I think it'll be pretty cool, but obviously you do need some kind of Future Soldier live event or something along those lines to add that into the game. And I don't know how OP that would be using it within PvP and using it just generally within PvE. I don't know it'll be worth adding that, because to be honest I quite like the Echelon ability. That was pretty cool. I think adding that camouflage will be pretty cool, but would it be too OP? I'm not really too sure.
But there's some of the kind of main ones. So let's have a look at some of the kind of other ones, the smaller ones, the things that keep coming up over and over and over and over again. That people would like to see put within the game. So we've got like functional bipods, for example. That one, I see that quite a lot. Every now and again, it pops up over and over again. Being able to change the reticle in your scope. You know, you can kind of do it on Call of Duty or games like that, where you go in and obviously you can change the reticle. That would be quite nice. People have mentioned that they would like the classic flight controls with a fixed crosshair for the weapons. That's quite interesting. A lot of people do like the classic flight controls. So what about going back to AI teammates? If we could see their lasers. I mean, really, when you put your MVGs on and things like that, you should be able to see their lasers, and you can't. And it's quite frustrating because it does take a little bit of immersion away from it. That would be quite nice. IR beacons on helmets and plate carriers. Obviously adding another part of realism to it, you know, like letting off the kind of strobe beacon that they would have to be able to identify where your teammates are, as opposed to maybe the blue triangle that you currently have on the map now. What about more operator kind of looking plate carriers and chest rigs? Definitely, that's a really important one, I think. We definitely need more variants for cosmetics. I know I said it at the beginning. It's something that I still think is hugely lacking. You know, even give us everything that was in Wildlands, because there's some great bits of kit in Wildlands that are just not here on Breakpoint. Helicopters, people have mentioned the UH-1 Huey, the UH-60 and the H-860 Pavehawk. They'd be nice additions. It'd be nice to have some new vehicles, maybe even some new ground vehicles as well. Now here's one that lots of people have mentioned, and this comes up again and again. Instead of being able to have 4 people teams, what about 6 people teams? That would be epic. A lot of us would like that. I'd certainly help on my channel 100%. I'd really like to see 6-man teams.
So those are like minor things that should be added to the game, and to be honest, I've said this plenty of times before, the little things make the bigger picture. You add loads of different little things that are in the game together and you get the large picture, such as being able to change your reticle, being able to have helmets and gas masks. Having little things like that totally improve the game and make it, you know, more playable, because you can go and change different things. Of course, there's like the belts. People want to be able to turn the belt off. People want to turn the belt on. All that kind of stuff. Like just having everything separate. I don't know if they could do that within Breakpoint because of like the coding and all that kind of stuff. And that might be the reason why they haven't added it to the game. But the little things would totally improve the game hugely. And also in regards to that 6-man team thing, I totally agree. Maybe having it as like 8 or 10. Of course, within Auroa, you can have, I think it's about up to 15 people within Auroa. It kind of proves that it is possible that you can have quite a high amount of players within one location at once. I don't know how it would work generically because of how broad Auroa is. I know you can have like one person on the opposite side of Auroa, I'm pretty sure anyways. I can't remember the last time I played co-op where we're completely separate like that. 6-man squads would work, totally.
All attachments for all weapons, obvious reasons, why not? If you have an RIS on a weapon, you should really be able to swap pretty much anything with whatever you want. That I really think that has to happen and stop kind of locking different things to different weapons. I don't like that. Deployable flares from helos, maybe make them reload slower than the SAM launcher to kind of make it fair. Chem lights, smoke grenades, they come up over and over again. The hand flares again. Flashlights on your weapons. That is something that comes up continuously. That would really, really add some excellent immersion into the game. Enemy AI, their detection is affected by nighttime, because at the moment it isn't. You could even give them enemy soldiers, or even just the wolves, NVGs, so theirs is then heightened by dark at night time, whereas soldiers without them are not. Maybe the different helmets, things like that, IOTV vests, I know they would really make your character kind of stand out. Some MVGs from Wildlands. We definitely need gas mask with helmets, 100% that needs to be there. A reload animation to include the grenade launcher animation as well. Definitely think that. Modify ammunition, so maybe include tracer, armor, piercing rounds, things like that. Magazine customization, so you could choose between like P mags or metal mags, things like that. So many different weapon options that we'd like to see in the game, like M16s, M27s, the M110, M249, things like that. ACR, the Glock 18 or 19. We could add things like canted sights, weapons like the FGM 148 Javelin.
I totally agree. I think we need loads more weapons within the game, and I don't know if I've already mentioned this before, but it's just needed. It's needed that we should have more weapons in the game instead of, variants. We should just have more weapons. I don't think you can get the Glock within Breakpoint, mainly because of the licensing. They don't like to allow games to have the Glock for some reason. I'm not really too sure. I think it's just a very expensive license to have, and that's why it's not frequently within the game. I'm pretty sure Modern Warfare for like Call of Duty, they tried to add it, but they had to basically do a variation of it and not name it the Glock. Basically completely changed it in a way, mainly because of the licensing behind that. They can't add it, unfortunately. I might be completely wrong there, but I'm pretty sure that's what I have heard anyways. Also linking back to flashlights as well, that's another thing which I've asked for plenty of times. I made a whole video on that, or at least I made like a video talking about that for a good, 2, 3, 4 minutes or something along those lines, and it's totally needed. I think that it should be added in the next update. I think it's that urgent, really. Definitely improves the immersive side of it, and it also improves like the Darkest Night feature as well, which was added in title update 3.0.3. Why hasn't it been added already? Of course, the Sentinel have it. Why can't we have it?
Rappelling up buildings, up of cliffs. People have been talking about that for ages. That would be epic if you could rappel out of your helicopter, things like that. Maybe some AI versus AI battles. That would be really interesting. Being able to breach doors, improve some of the factions in the game, have maybe more factions in the game. Ghillie hoods, everyone wants ghillie hoods. It's been asked for over and over and over again. Belt options to include kind of on-off options to be able to make your weapons louder if you added them into the kind of ghost experience. More gun wraps, more AI dialogue for teammates, Alice kits, from the US military, kind of 1980-90 kind of circa. C79 and the Micro T2 optics. Maybe add MGs on vehicles instead of the M134. You could have enemies take injuries, things like that. Give them more interesting looking enemies, then give them different camos, things like that. There's so many different options. Please let us know what you think of all those ideas, whether you've got lots more, and we will pass those on. Thank you so much for watching. So many interesting ideas here. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.
So that's it. As you were saying towards the end there, these are like little features in which just make a bigger picture, and to be honest, if they had all these little features, I think it would definitely improve the game hugely. There's obviously loads of things that could be added to the game, and whether they're major things or little things, I think it would totally improve the game. Do comment down below what you think of this video, and also go check out Bullet Catcher Gaming. Remember, link is down in the description, so do go check them out. They're absolutely amazing. They make plenty of content. They've been making like reviews on the new weapons for the game and just testing them out. It's really cool. Go check them out. And if you haven't checked my videos out, do go check them out. Do hit the subscribe button if you aren't already, and hit that like button. It is greatly appreciated. Also hit the notification bell to get notified when I upload. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you all in the next video. See ya.